What if the most valuable item inside an American prison isn't a weapon, isn't cash, and isn't even a cell phone? What if it's something you can buy at any grocery store for less than $1? Inside the walls of maximum security prisons across the United States, there's a currency more trusted than the US dollar. It doesn't get confiscated in a shakedown. It doesn't need a bank account. It fits in your palm, and inmates guard it like their lives depend on it. Because sometimes it does. It's a package of instant ramen noodles. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why prisoners have turned a 2-minute meal into the backbone of an entire underground economy. One built on hunger, survival, and a system so broken that a bag of noodles became more reliable than money itself. Let's start with something most people outside the system never think about: prison food. Officially, every inmate in America is guaranteed 3 meals a day. That's the law. But guaranteed doesn't mean sufficient, and it definitely doesn't mean edible. Former inmates and correctional staff have described prison meals as bland, undercooked, and often served in portions too small to keep a grown man full through a 12-hour shift on the yard. Budget cuts over the past 2 decades have hit prison kitchens especially hard. Some facilities spend just a few dollars per inmate per day on food. That has to cover breakfast, lunch, and dinner combined. So what happens when the state doesn't feed you enough? You find another way to eat. That's where the noodles come in. Sold in prison commissaries for around 50 cents to $1, instant ramen became the single most requested item behind bars. Inmates buy it, trade it, stockpile it, and in some cases, build entire underground businesses around it. But here's the twist: almost nobody outside the system knows. Ramen isn't just food in prison. It's money. In 2016, a sociologist studying prison culture spent months interviewing inmates across multiple state facilities. And what he uncovered shocked even seasoned corrections officers. Instant noodles had quietly replaced cigarettes as the most common form of prison currency. For decades, cigarettes ruled the underground economy, until smoking bans swept through prisons nationwide in the early 2000s. Once tobacco disappeared, inmates needed something new, something small, tradable, and universally wanted. Ramen filled that void perfectly. But that's not even the craziest part. Because ramen isn't just used to buy snacks or favors. It's used to settle debts. It's used to pay for services, laundry, haircuts, even protection. In some facilities, a single soup packet can buy you a favor from another inmate. 10 packets might buy you something far more serious. And missing a ramen debt inside certain yards can carry consequences that have nothing to do with food at all. Think about that for a second. A meal marketed to broke college students has become collateral in a world where the wrong debt can put your safety on the line. So why ramen out of everything available in commissary? Why not chips or candy or coffee? The answer comes down to 3 brutal, practical reasons, and once you hear them, it makes disturbing sense. First, ramen is filling. In a system where meals are often small and hours apart, a package of instant noodles can be the difference between going to bed hungry and actually sleeping through the night. Inmates have described crushing the noodles into a bag, adding hot water from a sink or a makeshift heating device, and turning it into an actual meal that fills the stomach in a way regular meal trays often fail to do. Second, ramen doesn't spoil quickly. Unlike fresh food, it can sit in a locker for weeks without going bad. That makes it perfect for saving, trading, and stockpiling, exactly what you need in a currency. Third, and this is where things get dangerous, everyone wants it. A currency only works if people actually value the thing being traded. In a place where hunger is constant and food insecurity never fully goes away, ramen checks every box. It's wanted by nearly every single person inside those walls, which makes it more stable and more powerful than almost anything else available. But prison veterans know something most people don't. The ramen economy isn't just about hunger, it's about power. Inmates who understand the system learn to hoard ramen the way someone on the outside might hoard cash. Those who accumulate enough of it can use it to buy protection from stronger inmates, pay other prisoners to do their laundry or clean their cell, or even bribe their way into better standing within certain groups. In some documented cases, ramen has been used to pay for tattoos done with makeshift prison equipment, or traded for extra time on a shared phone. And then there's the darker side. Because wherever there's currency, there's also debt. And wherever there's debt, there's leverage. Corrections experts have pointed out that when a system fails to properly feed the people inside it, it doesn't just create hunger, it creates dependency. Inmates who can't afford commissary items become vulnerable to those who can. Favors turn into obligations. Obligations turn into control. And in the most extreme cases, that imbalance of power has been linked to violence, extortion, and intimidation inside the yard. $1's worth of instant noodles. That's what it can take to shift the entire balance of power in someone's daily survival. Then everything changed when the pandemic hit. During COVID-19 lockdowns, prisons across the country restricted movement, limited visitation, and in many facilities cut already thin food services even further. Commissary access became inconsistent. Supply chains slowed down. And in a world already dependent on instant noodles as both food and currency, the shortage hit harder than almost anyone expected. Reports from inside multiple state systems describe tension rising as ramen supplies dwindled, prices for other goods spiked, and the fragile economy inmates had built around a single dollar store item nearly collapsed overnight. It was a stark reminder of just how much of prison life depends on something most people would never think twice about buying at a supermarket. Here's the part that should genuinely disturb you. This entire economy exists because the official system failed to do the one thing it's legally required to do: feed the people in its custody. When meals aren't enough, human beings find a way to survive, even if that means turning a 50-cent soup packet into the most valuable object in their world. It's resourceful. It's clever. But it's also a quiet, painful signal of just how broken prison food systems really are across the United States. Behind every stockpile of ramen in a locker, there's a story. Someone who went hungry enough times to start planning ahead. Someone who learned that in a place built on control, the smallest amount of power can come from the most unexpected place. So the next time you walk past a shelf of instant noodles in the grocery store, remember this. To you, it's a quick meal. To someone behind bars, it might be the difference between hunger and survival, weakness and power, safety and danger. Do you think prisons should be legally required to provide better meals? Or do you think inmates should have to live with whatever the system gives them? If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more real prison stories and hidden truths from behind bars.